Okay, this one is linear independence C30, and in this one, we want to find the span of the null set of this particular matrix. So remember, null set is the solution set if this were a homogeneous system, and then the span are the vectors necessary to build all possible linear combinations of the solution. So let's walk through it. This is kind of a repetition of a few things we've done in earlier examples. So the RF for this guy is equal to 1, 0, 1, negative 2, 0, 1, 1, 1, and 0, 0, 0, 0. So this one does not have a trivial null set. It's got a more interesting one. So let's go ahead and build the solution here, keeping in mind, remember, we still have the 0 columns over here. We can ignore those because they're not adding anything, but I like to keep them there for a little while just to remind ourselves of what we're doing when we're building solution sets out of vectors. Okay, so it's x1, x2, x3, and x4 are our 4 solutions. And that's equal to, again, here's where I'm going to write in the 0 column, even though it doesn't do anything. If it were numbers, it'd be really helpful to have here. Okay, now going back to the RF, we got pivots in column 1 and 2, and nothing in columns 3 and 4. So columns 3 and 4 are my free variables, so those are what get added on. So I've got x3 and its column vector, and x4 and its column vector. And we're becoming more familiar with this, so I'm going to go a little faster through the process. Remember, x3 and x4 both get 1s in their own row and 0s in the other, because they are themselves, and so the equation should say that. And then in 1 and 2, we look up here and say, okay, this 1 and negative 2 go to the other side in order to build the solution. So it's positive 2 and negative 1, and it's negative 1 and negative 1. And there it is. This is all the solutions to this if it were homogeneous, which means this is the null set. This is NB. That's the null set for B. And going one step further, I only needed 2 vectors to build the null set. Basically, 2 random coefficients times these 2 vectors builds every single solution. So that's what S is. S is the set of 1, negative 1, negative 1, 1, 0, and 2, negative 1, 0, 1. And there's the null set, or not, excuse me, not the null set. Here's the span. This is the spanning set for the null set of that particular matrix.